89.3 FM Toledo and Lima, 88.5 FM Wasia, on the web at yeshome.com, on the SFM Android and iTunes app, and the TuneIn Radio app, and now at 89.1 FM Fremont.
Yes, you are listening to Yes FM, and welcome back after hanging in there with us for our on-air fundraiser with Share-a-thon. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and super excited because we're thinking to summer, and one of the things that we're always involved with during the summer is Spirit Song Festival, coming to Kings Island June the 25th and the 27th, or through the 27th, rather. And one of the bands that's going to be there is For King and Country. On the phone line, we have Joel from For King and Country. Hi, Joel.
Good morning, April. Good morning, everyone. How are you?
We're doing well, doing well. We understand that you're visiting Big Sis in San Diego today.
Yes, we're I can't say sunny San Diego, but we are out here, and we have just a day off. We started a tour called You Matter the Tour last week, and we've just had a blast with it. But yesterday was our first day off, so we play in LA tomorrow, and we came down here to visit some family. So it was sweet moment for sure.
Now, for those of you listeners who don't know, Joel and Luke, who make up For King and Country, their big sister is Rebecca St. James, and back in the day, we were playing Rebecca's music and still following her, and she's hanging out with her bros today. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a sweet thing to. She really, in a lot of ways, April, is kind of we half joke that when Rebecca was in the middle of her musical career that Dad needed cheap labor, and he looked around, he saw he had 5 preteen or teenage boys, and we all homeschooled, so we all went out as like the Australian version of the Von Trapp family singers, and we were her road crew. And honestly, truthfully, that's where we learned a lot of the sort of the craft and the importance of music and live music. And we really wouldn't be, speaking of Rebecca, be a group if it weren't for her encouragement and input into us as little brothers, as an artist.
And I think that's important. Family is important. I mean, we know she's had a lot of say. And then obviously, I mean, a person that has been like just monumental in your life is your dad. I mean, you guys gave props out to him when you found out that you won a Grammy, and it's just evident. I mean, we've seen him behind the scenes with Rebecca. We're seeing him behind the scenes with you.
He officially manages us, but unofficially he's kind of the third ghost member of For King and Country. It's you know what, that's kind of the beautiful thing is we learned all of these things on the road with Rebecca, and Dad managed her as well. But we've kind of carried that on, not only Luke and I being brothers, but Ben, who's the brother just above us, all the music video and film work that we do, he directs that. The brother just above him, Daniel, does all of our lighting directing. And so it is a real, Mum's out here on the road with us. It's a real family affair, and we kind of try and keep it that way.
Oh, speaking of Mom, Mother's Day. Do you guys happen to have like any Mother's Day traditions that you do with Mom, or something that you've got cooked up without giving it away? If Mom's listening, we don't want to spoil the surprise. But what do you guys do for Mother's Day?
Well, she is just inside, so I think I'm safe. But, we keep it simple. One of the things that has become, as you would guess, with 7 children who are now most of us married and with kids of our own, rallying us, pulling us all together is quite a feat. And so that's kind of the first task at hand for Mother's Day. Is like, hey, we need to make an effort to all get in the same room together. But as far as like specifics, we don't have any quirky Aussie Mother's Day traditions to speak of that I can mention, at least that are coming to mind at this point.
Now, I know your mom just celebrated a birthday. Saw on your Facebook page some pictures with that. Is that correct?
Her 60th. Actually, it's been a very monumental moment. She celebrated her 60th birthday, and we all were in town and surprised her, quote unquote, but she sort of knew for that. And then Dad took her away for a few days because a few days following that, they just celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary. And their leadership for us as young men, and even one of the things we share from stage, we kind of talk about a woman's worth, and we talk about chivalry and men stepping up and standing out. Their example for us has been what has sparked that conversation particularly, but I mean, obviously, so much of how we love and who we are as men is kind of written into us through their love.
Once again, we're talking to Joel from For King and Country, and just the neat examples that his parents are, and of course, little brother to Rebecca St. James. And Spirit Song Festival coming up. So have you guys ever played a Spirit Song Festival before?
I don't believe we have. It's at a theme park, correct? Is that right?
Yes, it is at a theme park.
Is it Kings Island?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we've played Kings Island before, but I wanted to think it was some other event. Needless to say, either way, I'm a point and shoot guy, April, so it's kind of like get on the bus and go. I remember locations much better than I do titles, but we are thrilled to be coming this year. I'll tell you that much. And the boys, we travel with about 8 other kind of ragamuffins that perform with us and present this music live. And so one of their favorite, we all turn into 5-year-olds when we get to theme parks, except Luke. Luke will not get on you could pay him, you could probably pay him 4 figures and he wouldn't get on a ride.
He's not a coaster guy, huh?
He is not a coaster guy at all.
Aw, poor Luke. Well, I'm sure the rest of you guys, we've seen you in full setup, full band. I'm sure the rest of you guys probably more than make up for it.
Oh yes, no, there's the fearlessness in most of the other guys. Luke always kind of tells me, I give him a hard time about it. Luke tells me that it's because he gets tummy aches or because he gets a bit nauseous, but I think it's just because he's scared silly.
Now, out of the two of you, which one of you is older between the two of you?
Take a guess.
I think he's older.
No.
No, you're older. All right, All right, so you get to tease
older,
him.
But shorter brother, so it does get a bit misconstrued sometimes.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if you're coming at the angle from taunting him as an older brother, or the other angle as a younger brother, like, hey, big bro, you're not even, you can't even do this,
No, the thing about Luke is Luke's a very gifted fellow, and basically anything he touches, he was always a great sportsman as well, and he's taller than me, and so I had to find some way to get him back. So roller coasters is one of my ways to get him back. I've just been good at everything.
Once again, we're talking to Joel and one half of the guys from For King and Country. I'm going to be at the Spirit Song Festival, but you guys have had the banner year so far, winning some Grammys, and you've been on the Today Show and some other station appearances. I mean, what has that been like for you?
Speaking of Luke, he always says it well. So when you set out in music, there are certain things that are hopes and dreams and accolades that are you don't want to say important because it's just a trophy in the end, but are super encouraging would be the best way to put it. And for both Luke and I, this new record, Run Wild, Live Free, Love Strong, which is what we won one of the Grammys for, was a labor of love and was both a wonderful record to write and a really hard record to write. Right at the beginning of the process was kind of this polarizing moment where I had just gotten married, and that was wonderful, and simultaneously Luke had fallen kind of desperately ill with a digestive disorder that led to him dropping to about 125 pounds. So we took these sort of high highs and low lows into the album under God, and to be able to pour that out through the album, and then in a short while after, really, relatively speaking, its release, be recognized by what is the kind of the most monumental awards you can win in music was just sort of flabbergasting for us. But it was also, I think, for younger bands out there, we committed to a show that night in Nashville, Tennessee, so we weren't able to actually be there for the awards. And it was with a whole bunch of other younger bands, and just it felt like it was a win for us all, and so special. Needless to say, such a special moment. And then the Today Show, and we played Jimmy Kimmel out here in LA just a few weeks ago. Again, opportunities to take a message wider and flattered by the chance. But ultimately, this is all for the greater cause, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and then, of course, the collaboration with Lecrae on Messengers, winning the Grammy for that. And then, Lecrae being invited to be on Kimmel and some of these other late-night talk shows, too. It's just the opportunities that are there have just been amazing.
Yeah, very. There's certain things that you just, at certain points in your life, you feel like God has sort of lined up your steps because you weren't smart enough to do that yourself, and here we are.
How do you keep grounded then? Because it sounds like you guys are very well grounded, with all this stuff happening. But what helps you guys keep your focus, between touring and performing, and then you've had these amazing opportunities happen? How do you keep your focus? Well,
truthfully, a big part of it is family. You've got parents out here. Luke's got his 2 kids out here, his wife. I've got my wife out here right now. And so there's a lot of honest discussion that happens there. Just you can't get too far off the mark before someone kind of calls you to account. Not that happens often, but they're there. And also, this is a bit of a band of brothers even beyond immediate family, so to speak, with the band. And we all work together day in and day out. We all hold each other up when times are hard. Even last week, our drummer's wife was in the emergency room, and he had to for the opening of the tour, had to stay home for a few shows. And then I think the other thing too is we make an effort before every show, before every performance, to say prayer together, to connect together beyond what we do individually. And then I think finally, when we're home, which is not as often as we would like right now, but when we're home, church is such a huge thing, both in being sort of fed, if you will, but also just connecting with people, doing life with people, fellowship, all of that.
Once again, talking to Joel, who makes up the band For King and Country, going to be performing at Spirit Sound Festival this year, which is at Kings Island, and that's near Cincinnati, June the 25th through the 27th. One of the songs that we grabbed a hold of is actually what I guess you guys would consider the title track, Run Wild. Before we let you go, set up that song, the idea behind it. We've picked out things here and there, and our listeners have, but from your perspective.
Yeah. I find that there are a lot of things that are a sort of God-given right as humans, if you will. Certain ways to live that somewhere along the way have been convoluted and sort of claimed by the enemy. One of the ideas, I think, is like this: what it really means to live to the full, what freedom really means. A lot of times when you say freedom, people feel live free. People think like liberation and do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, or run wild, for instance. It's like, well, all of a sudden you're like, well, that's a bit provocative. No, don't do that. But our sense is, as young men, that if it's true, and if we are in touch with the creator of the universe, the designer of humanity, the orchestrator of actually our physical beings, then he understands the best way for us to live. Therefore, run wild, live free, and particularly love strong, for us as men are sort of mission statements as to how we are to live under God. And let me be clear, saying, live free and run wild. It's not the liberty to do whenever you want, whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want to do it, but rather it's living in accordance with the designer, the creator. And through that finding freedom, and then ultimately any freedom or liberty without true, deep, sincere love is not really much at all. We don't have much without love, and so love is sort of the punctuation at the end of that statement, no doubt.
Once again, talking to Joel For King and Country, and of course the album Run Wild, Live Free, Love Strong, and looking forward to seeing you guys and hanging out with you at Spirit Sound Festival, June the 25th through the 27th. Once again, Kings Island, which is near Cincinnati, Ohio.
Wonderful. April, thank you for the time. Guys, thanks for listening. And yeah, we will thoroughly look forward to seeing.
Yes, FM.